There are 4 mind movies that you need to watch that will help you become a millionaire. My name is Ballantyne. I'm the host of Early to Rise Radio. In this episode, I'm going to walk you through each mind movie that you can watch that will help you absolutely become 1% better every single day and make massive leaps ahead so you have big breakthroughs and you achieve the success that you want. But before we get into that, make sure that you hit the like button, comment down below, and subscribe and share this with your friends, because truly, this is life-changing advice when you apply it. So let's go into movie number 1. Now, I'm not going to tell you to watch my favorite types of movies, which are like Batman movies, and James Bond movies, and Jason Bourne movies, all the B movies. No, instead, the very first movie that you're going to watch is what I call the movie of your day. The movie of your day is very, very simple. We all start the day with a perfect day plan. Well, you would if you're going through my programs. But we all start the day with a schedule, a script, a to-do list. So keep that in mind on one side of your brain, as at the end of the day, around 7 or 8 o'clock at night, you watch the movie of how the day actually went. So you have the movie script for your day, and now you look back and you go, okay, I wanted to get up at 6:30 a.m., but I hit the snooze button. Oh, man. And then instead of me helping with the kids and getting off to work on time, I was really rushed. I snapped at my wife, and then, then I sat in traffic because I got out late. And then I wanted to make sure that I ate healthy, and I got to the gym, but I didn't have time for it. So I skipped that and went to Starbucks instead and got something crappy. So at that 11 o'clock meeting where I was supposed to do the great PowerPoint presentation, I was really rushed. And you just go through the movie of your day. Now, listen, not everything's going to be negative. You're going to go have those days where, man, I got up on time, I nailed it. And the reason I got up on time was because I got to bed on time the night before. And you're going to start to make what is called cause and effect connections. This is a scientific method, right? This is a scientific method to know that an action you took caused an effect later on. And when we go through this movie of our day, every single day, we're going to get 1% better. Here's a personal story. Back in the day when I still drank alcohol, I knew that if I went out for dinner with a business partner and I had 3 drinks, what I would do almost 100% of the time is I would binge eat chocolate-covered almonds after dinner. Even though I was full from dinner, I would still go and hunt them down, as a hunter-gatherer going out and finding my prey of chocolate-covered almonds over at 7-Eleven. I used to do this all the time when I lived in Denver with my business partner, and we'd go to the Edge Steakhouse, and sure enough, I'd have 3 Black Russians, which is what I used to drink when I drank, and then I'd go over to the 7-Eleven across the street from the Four Seasons Hotel, and I would get the chocolate-covered almond. And I realized as I watched, the next day I watched the movie of my life, I went, man, 3 drinks is too much. So I said, I'm no longer ever going to have 3 drinks because that causes me to make a mistake. So I'm going to have 2 drinks maximum. And I got the binge eating down to about 30% of the time. And I realized, you know what, this is still too much. So then I said 1 drink maximum. And I got it down to like 5 to 10% of the time, I would still go out and get the chocolate-covered almonds because the alcohol inhibited my correct decision-making. And so that what I did is I was just going to have 1 sip of alcohol. Just, 1 sip of a strong drink takes the edge off. And when I was still drinking alcohol, I quit a couple years ago, that's what I would do. And I went from 90% of the time binging to 0%. Because I simply looked back and I got 1% better. Now, it took too long to make that transition, probably took about 6 months, but it was only by looking back and reviewing my performance and understanding that the cause of the effect of binging was the alcohol that changed my life. That didn't wake up the next morning feeling like absolute crap, feeling like a hypocrite because I was telling people to live a good life and I wasn't, and then feeling like bad all day long until about 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the afternoon when I felt like eating again. I finally got my energy back. So not every mistake that you're going to identify in watching the movie every day is so bad as binge eating, but it's that I hit snooze because the night before I watched another 20 minutes of Netflix. Okay, great. I'm going to shut the phone off. I'm going to use Craig's reverse alarm and get to bed on time. Therefore, I won't hit snooze, and that won't hit down a negative domino over the rest of the day. This is truly a game changer. I talk about it in my Perfect Week Formula book, but I think it is so underrated, and I haven't talked about it enough, that this will truly change your life over time, slowly. The 1% better every single day that so many people talk about, if you add that up, that's 365% better at the end of the year. You're going to be 3 times the person that you are. Just imagine what that could do. So let's go on to the second movie, which is a continuation, maybe the sequel of the first movie. and that is watching the movie of your week. So on Sunday morning, I want you to do your perfect week planning for the week ahead. And when you're doing your perfect week planning for the week ahead, what's really, really helpful is that you go back and you look at how did my week go. Now, you want nothing to go into such detail the way that you did when you're watching the movie of your day, because everything's going to be really super fresh in your mind. But when you watch the movie of your week, you're going to identify what worked and what didn't. For example, Thursday afternoon, I had 2 meetings back to back and I had to take the kids to sports after. And my diet completely fell apart because I didn't plan and prepare. I didn't take my own food. Instead, I ate the Subway. Then I ate the Subway cookies that were in the meeting. Then I had a soda. And then I grabbed something at the gas station. I had no idea what I was doing. I grabbed something horrible. And then I still went out and got the nuggets at Chick-fil-A after that, after the kids were done sports. Man, my diet was horrible. I got to fix that. So I'm going to plan and get a meal prep service. And that's a 1% better, but now you're doing it on a weekly basis. So Sunday morning, you plan your week ahead and you look back at the week in review. You watch the movie, you watch the tape, and you identify what worked, what didn't, so you do more of what does work and less of what didn't. Now, you might be thinking, oh my gosh, just sounds so ridiculous, but professional athletes, NFL players, what do on Monday? They watch game tape. They watch the game they played the day before. I was told a story about U2, the band, that they watched footage of every single concert they did the next day or very soon after, and that's how they got better and better in every single performance. If you're a power lifter, you're a bodybuilder, and you want to have a perfect squat, you got to film that and you got to watch the tape. Everything is about watching the tape. You're a golfer, you watch the tape. And it's the same thing with our lives and our productivity and our habits. We got to watch the tape. Even though we don't have a camera on us 24/7, we do have our notes and our memories to make sure that we look back and watch this movie. Now what we're going to do is we're going to watch 2 prequels. So movie 3 and movie 4 are actually prequels for our life. So the first thing is the vision. This is the biggest movie you could ever watch about your life. And you're going to do this every 6 months. You're going to create the movie script for your life, which is the vision for your life. Now, I take people through workshops and exercise, and I have tons of videos, and I've talked about it in my Perfect Day Formula book and all this sort of stuff, and my visions have come true. The 5-year vision that I wrote in the Perfect Day Formula came true almost exactly as I wrote it. I was a little bit late, and I didn't live in the place where I had pictured my family in the book, but everything else is on track. 2 girls, 2 daughters, married, amazing life. All because I wrote out my vision in the book and shared it with people. So the vision is, again, the movie script for your future. I want you to ask yourself, where do you want to be in the next 5 years? Who do you want to be with? Where do you want to be living? What do you want to have achieved in your business? What's a big personal achievement that you want to have had? How does your life look in the next 5 years? And if you answered those questions properly and spoke them back to me, I'd be able to sit there and I'd go, I can watch the movie of your life right now. You just gave me the script. And when you give me the script, you set your mind on that course. It gives you a straight line of success and prevents you from going off on detours because you have that North Star, which is the movie script for your life. And think of all the greatest movies you've ever watched. Every single movie, you know what it is? Scripted. There's no movie that you've ever watched and loved and said, they just made this one up as they went along. No. And that's why if you're not as successful as you want to be, it's because you're making things up as you go along and not following the script. So create that vision. That vision is going to be a game changer for your life. That's the first prequel. Now, the second prequel is something we're going to do daily, which is our planning and preparation for tomorrow. We're going to visualize how tomorrow is going to go. And hopefully you have watched my videos. I recently did one about how this was influential in the naming of Think and Grow Rich, the planning and preparation stage. So the way that we teach it is we do a brain dump first. You get all this things running through your head, you get that down on paper. Sometime in the afternoon, it's because you're planning tomorrow, right? If you're doing your to-do list in the morning, you're already too late. You got to do it the day before in this planning and preparation phase. So we do that. The first thing we do, the brain dump, then we take everything we brain dumped and we put it in priority to-do list. And then we do a little process planning. We try and make the path to success smoother, and we give our subconscious brain something to work on overnight so you wake up in the morning and you crush it. And by visualizing your next day and scripting it out so perfectly, you watch a perfect day come to fruition the next day. So you got 2 prequels. You are going to create the big vision for your life. It's the movie script for your life. You're going to be able to tell me, and I'm going to see you exactly in that beautiful red Corvette with your wife, and maybe you got a white minivan for taking your kids out, and you're going to be living in this beautiful house. I want to live in Whistler. Maybe you want to live in Huntington Beach, beautiful places. You're going to tell me exactly where you're going to live, what the house is going to look like, what cars you're driving, what your family looks like, what you've achieved in your business specifically. And the reason why you're going to tell me that is because in my life, when I told my first business coach exactly what I wanted to achieve in 5 years, he said to me on our first call, he said, Craig, what do you want your business to look like in 5 years from now? And I said, I want to own a business like Early to Rise, the #1 health, wealth, and success newsletter in the world. And he said, Craig, I know that website. It's the most popular, but you have to improve your speaking, your writing, your networking, your coaching, your sales ability, your speaking from stage, all of these things. And I said, okay. And that put me on the path with a North Star. And I stayed on that path and I didn't go off on detours. And then sure enough, 5 years, 3 months, and 17 days later, I didn't just buy a business like Early to Rise. I bought the business because I wrote the movie script for my life. Game changer. Then you're going to do your movie of the day. You're going to prepare tomorrow. You are going to do the brain dump, to-do list, and planning and preparation so your subconscious mind makes your dreams come true the next day. And then at the end of that day, you're going to sit back and you're going to watch the movie script of your day. And the more that you do the vision and the planning, your movie script for the day is going to come perfectly together much more. You're not going to make the mistakes. You're not going to do the binge eating. You're not going to hit snooze. You're not going to make all those mistakes that throw your movie script off track. And then finally, every Sunday morning, as you plan out your perfect weeks using what I talk about in the perfect week formula, you're going to look back, you're going to identify what didn't work and what did work, and you're going to do more of what did work and less of what didn't work. And by refining that over time, 1% better daily, 7% better weekly, really it compounds to more than 365% better every year. It's really like you're going to be 5 times the person in a year from now that you are right now simply by using these 4 mind movies. They're going to make you a millionaire. They're going to give you vacations and family and all the stuff that you want. Everything is available to you when you watch these movies, and it's just going to be the game changer that you need. All right, this is Craig Ballantyne from Early to Rise Radio. And the last thing I'll say is get a copy of my books, Perfect Day Formula and Perfect Week Formula, because they go into these movies deeper and show you how powerful they are, because when you write the movie of your life, your dreams can come true.